Whenever I feel like just getting away, whether to think about something specific or to just reflect on life itself, I often find myself coming back to the beach. There's just something about the fresh air and looking out across the endless blue ocean that expands my mind and helps me to open up to new possibilities that just seem more difficult to do when I'm cooped up indoors staring at four walls. And on this sunny day in California, I started wondering about what happens after we die. Where do we go? Somewhere specific, nowhere at all, a heaven or hell, or maybe reincarnation? Although I've come across many theories, I can't say for sure, and I'm not sure that anyone else living knows with absolute certainty either. That said, Mr. Alan Watts offers an interesting concept for us to ponder. Let's have a listen.
Just in the same way as you don't focus your attention on how you make your thyroid gland function, so in the same way you don't have any attention focused on how you shine the sun. So then, let me connect this with the problem of birth and death, which puzzles people enormously, of course. Because in order to understand what the self is, you have to remember that it doesn't need to remember anything. Just like you don't need to know how you work your thyroid gland. So then, when you die, you're not going to have to put up with everlasting non-existence, because that's not an experience. A lot of people are afraid that when they die, they're going to be locked up in a dark room forever. And sort of undergo that. But one of the most interesting things in the world, this is a yoga, this is a way of realization. Try and imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Think about that. Children think about it. It's one of the great wonders of life. What will it be like to go to sleep and never wake up? And if you think long enough about that, something will happen to you. You will find out, among other things, that it'll pose the next question to you: what was it like to wake up after having never gone to sleep? That was when you were born. You see, you can't have an experience of nothing. Nature abhors a vacuum. So after you're dead, the only thing that can happen is the same experience, or the same sort of experience, as when you were born. In other words, we all know very well that after people die, other people are born. And they're all you. Only you can only experience it one at a time. Everybody is I. You all know you are you. And wheresoever beings exist throughout all galaxies, it doesn't make any difference. You are all of them. And when they come into being, that's you coming into being. You know that very well. Only you don't have to remember the past in the same way you don't have to think about how you work your thyroid gland or whatever else it is in your organism. You don't have to know how to shine the sun. You just do it. Like you breathe. Doesn't it really astonish you that you are this fantastically complex thing? And that you're doing all of this and you never had any education in how to do it? You never learned, but you're this miracle? Well, the point is that from a strictly physical, scientific standpoint, this organism is a continuous energy with everything else that's going on. And if I am my foot, I am the sun.
It's a very deep concept, hard to totally get my mind around. If true, it would mean that every amazing experience, every lottery winner, every first date or wedding, and likewise every case of suffering and illness and even murder, all those experiences we would all experience. And the next thought is how it gives a literal interpretation of karma, since everything you put out is literally and ultimately directly experienced by another version of self. Let's consider the implications a little further.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. The first thing he says to himself is, man, get lost. Because he gives himself away. The nature of love is self-abandonment, not clinging to oneself. Throwing yourself out, as in, for example, in basketball, you're always getting rid of the ball. You say to the other fellow, have a ball. See? And that keeps things moving. That's the nature of life. So in this idea, then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
My name is Robert Sepehr. I'm an anthropologist. You can find my published work on Amazon. My books make a great gift. Thank you so much to my subscribers on Patreon, as well as anyone who shares these videos. I really appreciate it and would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel for updates. Please don't forget to leave a comment and give a thumbs up for Mr. Alan Watts. I hope to see you again soon.